The amazing Jonathan and the other guys secure VGK wins over the weekend.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. He's Chris Golick. I am the other guy. We appreciate you making us your first listen. And make sure that you check us out on Twitter at LockedOnVGK, at Tony Dasco, at TD Chris G. And, of course, on the YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights. What is that?
My daughter made a taco hat because if VGK had a home game, they would have tacos because they got 2 goals in multiple periods. So your daughter makes you a cute taco hat. You wear a cute taco hat. That's how it works.
Okay, I thought you were going to have some sort of appreciation for the open there. The amazing Jonathan and the other guy. Saturday, the stage belonged to Jonathan Quick. Sunday, it was the other guy, as Bruce Cassidy referred to Jiri Patera. As the goalie carousel spins round and round, Saturday we saw Quick. I love that hat. Keep it on. We saw Quick with a shutout win over Carolina. Sunday, Patera with his first NHL win, 5-3 VGK victory. Quick 33 saves, and he is 3-0 since joining VGK. It was his 58th career shutout. Let's talk first of all about Quick's addition to the lineup and to the VGK. And you know what? I have to go back a ways when, remember, I was just talking up the fact that I thought that VGK really needed an experienced goaltender. The defense in front of him is playing very well at this part of the season.
It's all working out. And I mean, I think you start by tipping your cap or in my case, your taco to Kelly McCrimmon and what he's done this season. I mean, listen, you and I argued sometime in the late summer. We did an episode about my appreciation for McCrimmon, and you weren't saying he did a bad job, but I think your sticking points your concerns were the long-term VGK, and my perspective was the now and what's happened in the past, and they're both valid. And you look at what he's done this season, and we'll focus on the goalies, obviously, but Jonathan Quick, that's an absolute wizardry level type of play right there. It took some cojones to do that, right? Because Quick statistically, as many people here in Vegas will tell you on the media side and the fan side, that I think he was the third lowest goaltender from a statistical perspective over the last season and a half, and everything else going against him. But it doesn't take a rocket scientist to dig into the numbers and look at what's happened in Los Angeles. And the only reason I say that is look at Phoenix Copley. Phoenix Copley's goals against and save percentage is only a few ticks better than Jonathan Quick. So that tells me right there, the kink in the armor, no pun intended for, being the Kings and the Golden Knights, but the kink in the armor is the defense, and the strength is also the defense on the Vegas side. The Kings obviously being on the weaker end of that. So, Quick has something left, and he's proven that. And you heard that today also in the postgame. Patera did mention that Quick was speaking to him between plays during media timeouts even. So, listen, McCrimmon does, in my opinion, maybe another show for another time, but deserve some level of consideration for the Jim Gregory Award for the best GM in the game.
Okay. I mean, one of the things that Quick said when he started here in Vegas was that he would mentor the younger players as well. And so that comes into play, and he's done a really good job there. The defense, they let up 15 shots on goal back in that Carolina game in the first period before they started to settle in.
Yep.
And when they play well in front of him, I think then it's going to give him a great chance of winning. The victory over Carolina, by the way, according to VGK Communications, the 7th time this season that VGK has swept a regular season series. So Carolina, Montreal, Ottawa, Tampa, Toronto, Winnipeg, and Washington.
There's a lot of Eastern Conference teams you just said there.
Yeah, they played very well against the East. The concern's going to be when they have to play after Philly. Is it 15 consecutive games against the West and the Pacific. I think the Pacific Division alone. So that's what really concerns me.
It's
And
fair.
then on Sunday, the other guy, Patera, I can't stop laughing that he called him the other guy. He took an early slap shot to the face
Yeah, he did.
from
Oh.
Colton Parayko, and then he pretty much settled in. And what about, I thought the key save was the save on Braden Saad, because Saad was breaking
Brandon Saad,
away.
yeah.
Yeah. And he had that really good play in front of the net and deflected the puck up into the net and did a great job of just shutting him down and closing the space.
There were a couple saves like that where St. Louis got behind us. I mean, you knew Vegas was not going to have a clean effort. It's the back-to-back. I know how much you love the back-to-backs and everything.
Yes, but St. Louis also had a
no
back-to-back.
doubt. But both
Come
teams are going to give up a lot of
man.
chances.
Uh-huh.
It's going to be a bad game. It's going to be a bad game on both sides. Neither, like, it's not going to be good because both teams are tired. It's going to be bad because both teams are tired. If one team is good or one team is tired, one team isn't tired, then sure, we can take this argument differently. But at the end of the day, two tired teams, it's going to be some bad hockey and some heavy ice out there, Tony. But yeah, Brandon Saad got in a couple times, and a few other times there was some bang plays where Patera was tall. Patera did what he had to do. He made his layups, right? There's not one goal where you go back and say, okay, maybe that one, he'd like to have back. I didn't get that vibe at all tonight. It's unfortunate that the game got a little closer than it needed to. VGK is still giving up some multi-goal leads right now, but again, they shut the door and they actually wound up winning the game by 2 goals. Oddly enough, the last goal of the game is Petro from Barbashev, some St. Louis connection there. Really, the only concerning factors for me, a couple times Patera, like, he got lucky early in the game, right? Someone was on the doorstep. Patera gave the whole, like, not the whole, but a good chunk of the net, and it wound up bouncing off Patera's shoulder, hitting the post, and kind of basically going in and out pretty fast. Luckily, it didn't wind up going across the line. A couple times I felt Patera got the puck. He could have played it out a little bit faster, and he decided to hold it for a face-off. And I think that's just more nerves. Just, he didn't want to turn the puck over. But the times he did play the puck, I did like his passes, some real good tape-to-tape passes. I didn't feel like he put the team in danger with the way he played the puck. So it's a good first game, right? It's a good first game. Get the nerves out. And who knows? He could be called upon, later this week, is for all we know. Or we might see Logan Thompson back at the end of the week. We might see Brossoit back at the end of the week.
Yeah, I'll get into that in just a second. But Patera said, and maybe one of the reasons why he was hanging on to the puck, Chris, was because he said that St. Louis tried to play rush hockey, and that VGK's defense kept that team to the outside. So that could have been the reason why he was just hanging on a little bit longer, slow down the pace and the tempo of the game. And so that very much could have been what had happened. Jacob Vrana, the goaltenders here, it's in their DNA. Give up that top shelf goal. That's what that goal was.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
I know. Okay, we'll get over that one. The Jordan.
You'll get over. I'm over it. You'll get over it.
Bang bang. That was a good goal, actually. And then we saw the Tyre Pittick goal there as well, and we saw where St. Louis had knotted this game up. VGK. Then we'll talk about a recap of this game in just a minute. But also, you just had alluded to the fact that we could see LT or LB back. LT or LB back sometime this week. Vince Sapienza from Fox 5 reporting this afternoon that the VGK goaltenders, Logan Thompson, Laurent Brossoit, they have started to skate again. So what was the timeline you said from the time that they're back on the ice?
The general timeline that you've heard mentioned is 5 or so days from the moment they've been skating. And there's even been some kind of under the table reports that LT has been skating a little bit longer, but no pads or anything like that, just getting out there and getting some laps and kind of that sort of thing to get the strength back a little bit. So realistically speaking, just kind of looking at the calendar right now, so I think it's honestly, I think you're probably going to, you got Philly and you got Calgary. There you go. You got Philly and Calgary this week. That's going to be
Calgary's just stinking right now.
they're slowing down, and that game on Thursday
they
is just
lost
going to
5
be
in a row, I think, something like that.
Yeah, and that Thursday game is going to be just a drunken poop show with all the St. Patrick's Day shenanigans and the Calgary fans. They party hardy. It's going to be nuts. But so you got 2 days off after that. So I think we have Patera backing up. I think you go quick, Philly and Calgary. You got Friday and Saturday off. Sunday matinee Columbus. I could see the return of LT possibly against Columbus. That would not surprise me. Or if they held out for the road trip. That's basically, you're talking another week and they could have been skating, quote unquote, even a little bit longer than what they've been saying. So I'll pencil in somebody is coming back as early as this coming Sunday against Columbus. And, I think the next question is, how does this goalie carousel stop? We were at a fair on Saturday, can't even say it still, but you have Jonathan Quick, you have LB, and you have LT. Let's just assume all three are healthy. How are they going to play that card right now? Are they going to roster 3 goalies? Because I don't know if they're in a spot where they can move goalies around or anything. They can't even send LT down right now. Well, I don't think LB is on LTIR. So he might have a setback this week. Excuse me.
Right. And then you can't put him down for rehab to the AHL LT.
You maybe can, but
Thompson.
there has to be a reason. And we covered this with Brossoit once early in the year. There's 2 different types of rehab assignments. And basically there's the first one where you get, I think it's 2 games or a week or something like that. And you can request an extension as well if certain parameters are met. This late in the season, I don't know how that whole thing plays out, to be completely honest. That could be obviously a little bit different here. So just kind of taking a look here. Our current injured reserve situation, IR, is 2 goalies, LB and LT. So their salaries are still accounting against the Golden Knights. So we're still cap compliant in that regard. So theoretically, with the number of players on the roster, there is a path where we could have LB, LT, and JQ all in the goalie rotation just to finish the season up. And then they figure out what they're going to do come playoff time as far as which 2 of the 3 will be on the roster and how that whole thing shakes out. It's weird, but I don't know.
Just one other note on the goalies. Jonathan Quick has not played. What do they say on the TV broadcast? A back-to-back. Has not started a back-to-back, I think, in 5 years now. 5 years, because a lot of us were wondering, would they play him back-to-back?
Fifth VGK goalie going back to February 9th. There's another stat while we're dropping stats. How about that?
All right. Coming up next, we take a look at the 2 games this past weekend. VGK earning 4 big points. We'll return right after this. You are watching and listening to Locked On Golden Knights. Our next partner has a product that we literally use every day. It's Athletic Greens. We mostly take it because we don't have time. We want it much better gut health, more energy, and better sleep. And now that it's been happening, using it for about 6 to 8 months, really like it. It doesn't taste super healthy. It's a mild tropical taste that you would actually look forward to taking each and every morning. And with one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you are absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole foods or superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start the day off on the right foot. Something that we really like. It's lifestyle friendly, and definitely you have to understand the importance of the multivitamin. It's important to choose one with high-quality ingredients that your body will actually absorb, and that's what you will find in AG1. It's less than $3 per day. You're investing in your health, and it is much cheaper than your cold brew habit. There's tons of testimonials. Just look them up. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Again, athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership over your health and to pick up the daily nutritional insurance. Welcome back to Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick. He's Chris Golick. I'm the other guy. We appreciate you making us your first listen every day. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights. Welcome everyone back. The Golden Knights, Chris, had 2 weekend wins. Carolina and at St. Louis, back to back. But of course, have to go there. The Blues also had a back to back. They played at Columbus because this league is stinking rigged. And then they went back home and they played VGK. Okay, the key to both wins, however, both of these games, I think, VGK set the tone early, right? They scored that early goal. Bruce Cassidy's been wanting them to get out of the chute quickly.
No doubt. And that's the thing. You're watching the games, and I thought the Marchessault goal was absolutely brilliant against Carolina on Saturday. Yeah, exactly. It's coming around right now. So
isn't it crazy in the month of March? We have to look up
a lot of
stats,
guys wake up in the month of March. A lot of guys wake up in the month of March. But since you called it, Tony, that's why it's happening, obviously. But, it's such a seeing eye play where he comes in there. And the Carolina defenseman kind of does their job, right? They're trying to block and just, do what they can. And Marchessault literally waits for him to drop a little bit. And you could tell by the way Marchessault released that puck, he intended a low shot. So basically, if you bring your dominant hand lower on the stick, that can make it easier to elevate the puck. When you bring it up a little bit higher, close to your non-dominant hand, it's easier to just shoot a low and powerful shot. And you can see him kind of do like a reverse choke up where he brought his hand up and kept that shot low. And, you hear the goalies say it all the time, right? If they can see it, they can save it. That's obviously a Logan Thompson quote, but a lot of goalies say that. And if you take away just a tenth of a second or even less than that of that reaction time, you significantly increase your chance to score a goal. And there's other things that actually going back to a player like Dave Perron when he was with us, changing the angles and things like that, using that player as a screen. It's just such a remarkable way to turn what seems to be a seeing eye shot to a high danger opportunity. But back to the point, VGK, they've been ready these last couple of games, right? You go back to the Florida game, weird game, but I think that's just the vacation effect, right? They were down in Florida in the beach, whatever it was. They did not come out ready for that one. But, back to Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, VGK was ready all three games and got rewarded with 6 points.
Pretty big. So Riley Smith, Paul Cotter, your guy, along with Marchessault, Brett Howden had goals. We talked on this show last week about Alex Pietrangelo, and he kind of went invisible. Well, he had a couple of assists in that first game against Carolina, and then he had the empty net goal, which was an absolute beaut, though. I mean, that was, an end-to-end shot that was right there on the money. That was cool.
That was nerve-wracking because, that was good, but unfortunately, Jack Eichel had the game on his stick, not far from the crease, and I don't know who it was, but a St. Louis player sold out to get the puck off his stick, and St. Louis looked like they were going to get a quality chance at the end of the game there. And I can just imagine, Cassidy's mindset. The first question out of the chute, I think, from Ashley after the game was about the empty net goal. She was trying, I think, to get Cassidy to laugh it off a little bit, but Cassidy didn't take the bait. He, went pretty coach and just very relaxed and talked about the game and the results and stuff. But yeah, good to see Pietrangelo chipping in wherever he possibly can. And, again, the ironic value of the fact that it was Pietrangelo from Barbashev to seal the deal.
So it was Carlson who opened up the scoring. Amadio, Marchessault madness, the empty netter by Pietrangelo. After VGK led in this game 3-1, crucial timeout by Craig Berube. At that time, I think he said, I could read his lips, he said, beat the snot out of VGK. Because they came back and they just started checking him and smashing VGK. And me and one of my friends were texting each other, and it's like, watch St. Louis get back in this game because they are playing so much more physically than the VGK were at that time. And lo and behold, they get those 2 goals. But again, I think they're going to see a lot of this here down the stretch of that physical style of hockey. And we'll see if this has any effect when they go into Philadelphia on Tuesday.
So a couple things. I actually tweeted during the first period of the game that Colossar was missed. You saw Martinez take a good hit in the corner. Cotter, and this isn't even the collision that happened in front of the bench, but Cotter, not long right before that collision, he got hit, or it might have been after, but he got hit pretty good behind the net. And at that moment, you're like, okay, this is where you miss a guy like Colossar. Colossar isn't going to scare anyone out there, but he's going to give it back.
And Carrier, too.
God, yeah, we are. I mean, could you imagine this team with Will Carrier right now? Like, I mean, this is, and Mark Stone. Like, it's in Nick Waugh. I mean, geez, we can keep going on and on here. And, I wonder what the total here's an over under right here. So let's just take Robin Lehner out of the equation because that doesn't count right now, and Nolan Patrick and stuff like that. But when you factor Nick Waugh and players who are going to be active and Mark Stone potentially, over under salary cap, $99.4 million. I think it's going to go over at some point in the playoffs if Mark Stone comes back. Just remarkable. Right. But, the physical play, Tony, that is super important, obviously, come playoff time. Even the Western Conference teams do play a more physical brand of hockey. Obviously, the Eastern Conference teams take it to DEFCON level 4, whatever, DEFCON 5, whatever it should be. And you'll get a taste of that Tuesday when we play Philly. Philly did a really good job clogging the game the last time these two teams met at T-Mobile. That's the game where Shea Theodore, unfortunately, took that knee-on-knee, incidental, but took a knee-on-knee and missed almost 2 months. And, Shea Theodore comes back. All of a sudden, look what the VGK is doing, and Zach Whitecloud, and just a healthy defense in general. So let's get out of Tuesday, our last matchup. When you mentioned that earlier, that's our last Eastern Conference matchup. It's all Western and very heavy on the Pacific down the stretch.
I think against the top teams in the East, it's something like 10-1-1 for VGK currently, right? Something like that. And then are you watching as well? I know one of the areas too that Cassidy wanted to clean up was winning those puck battles in the slot. Has that changed?
Yeah, I mean, so going to the second game as we kind of transition a little bit here, the game just against the St. Louis Blues a little bit more. Dorofeyev got to the dirty areas.
And talk about him in the third segment.
Oh, we are talking about him in the third segment. Okay, but point being is,
he got
Dorofeyev did a good job getting into the dirty areas, and other players are following suit, so to speak. So there you go.
This is what happens when we record after dark. What do you, a little whiskey there for you? No,
I am one whiskey deep. Yes, definitely.
All right. Coming up next, hey, you know what? Maybe we should talk about Pavel Dorofeyev when we return. Let's do that right after this.
The other guy?
Did I say his name wrong?
No.
Locked On Golden Knights. Looking for a delicious treat, but you don't want all that fat and all those calories, then you have to try Built Bar. If you are like me or Chris, you really want to eat healthier, but you don't want to compromise the taste, then man, oh man, you really do need to try a Built Bar. With Built, healthy is actually tasty. Seriously, they are so delicious, you won't think that they're good for you, perfect for everyday use. And what makes Built Bars so good? Well, for starters, covered in 100% real chocolate. That's right, real chocolate. And they come in amazing flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, and coconut almond. We're not sure how Built does it, but these bars taste like a candy bar while maintaining all the amazing macros, including 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, and a whopping 17 grams of protein. And now you don't have to just go to Built.com to get your Built Bars because they're right around the corner. You could go to either a Walmart or to Sam's Club. At Sam's Club, of course, you could go there and get your 13-bar box with all the hit flavors, including brownie, batter, and churro. And also, if you go to your nearest Walmart, just go to the pharmacy area. They're right there. And you could pick up a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, double chocolate, or coconut puffs. And again, it's Built Bars. Go to Built.com, and you could thank us later. Welcome back to Locked On Golden Knights. He's Chris Golick. I'm the other guy. We appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. And Chris, day drinking, comparing Carlson to Patrice Bergeron. Come on.
I didn't do that.
No. Bruce Cassidy did.
Whoa. He was day drinking.
Yeah, that's what I put. Hashtag day drinking. Okay. We want to talk about Pavel Dorofeyev.
Let's talk about Pavel Dorofeyev.
Okay. Scored a goal, had an assist on the Carlson/Bergeron goal early on in the game. In typical Vegas Bjorn Carlson.
How are you going to knock him for this?
Okay. Carlson scored 1 goal off of his skate. He scored 1 off of his body. He scored like 3-4 empty net goals. Are we at 15 yet?
He got a good goal tonight, though.
Yeah. Okay. Is that a clean goal? Yeah, that's a clean goal.
He got a good goal, good position.
Okay. We'll give him that.
Yeah.
So Dorofeyev on the feed, Carlson with the finish, good goal. The second one was that pass that went off the noggin. What have you seen this before other than with Carlson? It goes off of the mask.
It's funny you mentioned this. I'll give you a really good story.
Okay, goes off the mask of Dorofeyev, and that's how he scores his first goal in the NHL. You're going to remember that, right?
Of course, and you're going to hear it too, because that puck makes a weird sound. So, all right, so going back to when the Chicago Blackhawks defeated the Boston Bruins in the Stanley Cup, they had like a double or triple.
Was Patrice
triple
Bergeron playing?
He might have been, actually. He might have been.
You know what? Bergeron has scored more goals in his 20th season than Carlson. I think it's double the amount of goals he scored. The double the amount of goals in his 20th season over this Carlson guy.
I'll bet Carlson gets paid more too. But okay, so going back to Andrew Shaw, Chicago Blackhawk, Stanley Cup, Blackhawks, Bruins, 2015. I want to say, I don't know, whatever. But point being is double or triple overtime game. Andrew Shaw is right in front of the slot. The puck is basically head high. He heads it like a soccer player in. And he's celebrating like a madman. The goal is disallowed because he intentionally did it.
Because he intentionally hit it in.
It was a soccer player. It was priceless to see it.
Didn't someone do that on VGK this season? Or
probably, I don't know. But
I'm remembering something now.
With Dorofeyev's goal, right place, right time, hits him in the mask. He even was doing this after it happened, laughing about it. Just talk a little bit about Dorofeyev. He's been very noticeable, first of all, with the Silver Knights. His game has really grown, and I would say from 2 years ago to current year, he's a much more physical player out there. He's just a little bit bigger, growing a little bit. I mean, he's still, how old is he? He's so he's 22, 23 years old right now. So he's still growing in that regard, so to speak. In the 21-22 season, 63 games, he gets 52 points. So basically a point in 90% of the games that he plays. This season, up and down, some injury issues as well. 32 games, but he's 17 points. 9 goals, 8 assists, 17. 30 is the penalty minute total right there. So he's fallen off a little bit, but everyone in Henderson has fallen off for a very long period of time. And since he's been called up recently, the Silver Knights had a couple of rough games as well. Go figure. Dorofeyev, Gary Lawless was talking a lot about him. Sometime it was right around the break of camp, and basically saying you're going to see Dorofeyev with this team at some point in a and he even thought it was going to be as soon as this year in a semi-regular role. And it turns out I don't think he's going to have a semi-regular role, but next year, I do think this is a player they look at to possibly break camp, like a Paul Cotter type of role where, he's going to be in that, in that top 9, hopefully the top 6. That's a better place for him, depending how things shake out. And he's a good player to have. And it is just a reminder that given all the trades that this team has made, all the things that have happened, they still do have a farm system that is developing. And, Jiri Patera, all of a sudden, go figure.
Mm-hmm. The guys on the team were very happy for Dorofeyev to score that goal, regardless if it was a fluke goal or not.
I wish that would have been William Carlson. You would have flipped out. I flipped
out already because he scored a goal. I mean, how in the world could you possibly compare him to the great Patrice Bergeron? How?
Morale boost, Tony. Morale boost.
Okay. They just want to, we're going to get him fired up now. So that was just the 4th game, I think, for Dorofeyev on the NHL level. And
his most noticeable today, though. Most noticeable, definitely today.
So what had happened was one of my friends had said, I think Colossar is hurt. And I didn't know if Dorofeyev was up or not when I texted you. So he told me last night. I was at the basketball game, and I was like, oh, wow, I wonder if he's going to be out of the lineup tomorrow. So I just took a stab, and I said, when we did our picks, right, to score our locks of the night, I just said Dorofeyev, and you went, what? I
tried to talk you out of it. I'm like, Tony, he's not playing. He's not playing.
To even check.
I didn't know he was up.
Friendly. Remember, I had to go on to Cap Friendly to see if he was still up with the team. What do we know about Keegan Colossar and this injury? His lower body, right? That's it. But sent home, so it has to be serious enough.
Yeah, I mean, they keep putting him on the Jet X, on the charters, right? Sending him back to get looked at. And it's unfortunate what's happening. It keeps happening. And
That's two players on this trip that they've lost now.
It
Aiden
is,
Hill
and it's a time of year, and
Keegan
VGK is not
Colossar.
the only one this is happening to. I mean, that's, a fair way to look at this right now. And, hopefully reinforcements are coming, right? We've heard nothing about Nick Waugh for a while. I thought
Where
that
is
started.
Nick Waugh?
I thought that started day to day.
He's disappeared, right? It did start day to day. You're absolutely correct. It did. And then what? Week to week?
Yeah, so like I remember in the post game, they shook it off pretty good. I think in the first updates, no, not that big of a deal, and then all of a sudden,
VGK just hoping that everyone else in the league forgets about these players that they're stowing away for the postseason, stowing them away.
So let's see here. Nick Waugh didn't even show on the injuries. He's not even listed. Okay, what are we doing here with Nick Waugh? He's not even listed on the injuries on Cap Friendly.
Now that's interesting. Where's Nick Waugh? Okay,
Aiden Hill's cleared, LT known, injury, lower body, like he disappeared. He got men in black. He got the pen, and he doesn't exist. He doesn't exist.
Okay. Well, we'll try to follow up on that for tomorrow's show, and we'll find out more about the other guy and the other guy too. But you like the nickname, the Amazing Jonathan?
I don't know. Someone, okay? Yeah, now I'm catching on to where you're going with that. Someone, there was actually, so here, Wausau Aaron actually asked an important question while we were gabbing here while we got a second. And it was directly to you, Tony. Game 7, Stanley Cup on the line. Who is your VGK goalie?
Yeah.
Let's assume they're all healthy. They're all healthy.
It's quick. It has to be quick because of his experience. I tweeted him back.
Oh, okay, I didn't catch that.
While you were rambling about something.
Yeah. I ramble a lot. Someone else made the comments.
I would have to go with the experience factor. And it's going to be interesting to see how they play the goalies in the playoffs too. And when he comes back, right, Logan Thompson will not be getting as many game starts, as he did in his prior experience before the injury.
He's still a young rookie, and you said it best about the perspective that Cassidy has of goalies in general and young players. And listen, you can trust Jonathan Quick. I mean, are we really at the point where Jonathan Quick, the fourth person, our fourth goalie in line, not even a VGK as of the 1st of March, right, or February 28th, whenever the trade happened, and he has a couple of good starts, and boom, he gets the keys to the car game 1 in the playoffs? Like, is that really the reality right now?
No, he's 3-0, and the defense plays well in front of him, and he's a good, experienced player. And I was begging for a Stanley Cup experienced goaltender all off season, because I was like, can they win a cup with these guys that they currently have? And it was a major question mark, major.
There was concern about Aiden Hill being the backup.
Aiden Hill. It was nothing against Logan Thompson
or Aiden Hill.
It was everything against Laurent Brossoit. I don't think he could win it. Okay, and then obviously Jonathan Quick now, but it's going to be interesting to see how things shake out on that goalie carousel. And we'll keep, of course, our eyes and ears on that. From a man, Chris Golick, I'm the other guy, Tony Cardasco. We appreciate everyone tuning in.
Beat that horse until it's dead.
Make sure that you check out our YouTube channel, because you could catch us after dark. Of course, that's what we're doing now, right? Recording the show. And we'll see you tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights.